So I now want to shift to Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints once again. This will be my final NFL topic of the day. You know, like I said earlier, Drew Brees is an absolute legend. To me, he's one of the 5 to 7 greatest quarterbacks of all time. The guy's been to 13 Pro Bowls. He's led the NFL in passing yards 7 times. 4 times, he led the NFL in touchdown passes. 6 times, he's led the NFL in completion percentage. 2 times in passer rating. Right now, he's the all-time leader in completion percentage as far as all-time quarterbacks in history. And he's thrown for over 80,000 passing yards. And he has 571 career touchdown passes. His numbers are amazing and off the charts. And his accomplishments are off the charts as well. Now, here's the thing. The biggest knock on Drew Brees, like I said earlier, was he was never quite the best quarterback in the NFL in his era. I've always had him behind Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Rodgers. So he never quite was the best quarterback in all of football. He never won a league MVP. I do think to a certain degree his numbers have been a little bit of a product of playing in a dome with a great offensive-minded head coach in Sean Payton. Drew Brees doesn't have the greatest arm. He doesn't at times perform his best when he plays outdoors. And in the playoffs, Drew Brees is 8-8 for his career. And he's also, he's 9-9, pardon me. Drew Brees in his career is 9-9 in the playoffs in his career. 9 wins, 9 losses. That's a 500 record. That's kind of average, In fact, it's the epitome of average. It's 500. That's average, okay, to me. And Drew Brees has missed the playoffs 9 times in his career. And those are some of the biggest knocks against Drew Brees. But really what ultimately I'm saying is Drew Brees only has won 1 Super Bowl throughout his entire career. So I wanted to answer the question, is Drew Brees only winning 1 Super Bowl a disappointment? And I say no, it's not a disappointment. Drew Brees not winning a second Super Bowl to me is not a disappointment. I will tell you why. The biggest reason why is because Drew Brees wasn't even supposed to be this good in the first place. He was not supposed to have this Hall of Fame career. Now, granted, it's God willing, but when you look at the way Drew Brees' career started and where he was drafted, if you would have told someone 20 years ago, Drew Brees is going to be one of the let's just say a top 10 quarterback of all time, because anyone that thinks Drew Brees is not a top 10 quarterback of all time, they're delusional and they don't know what they're talking about. Some people have Drew Brees in the top 5. I don't quite have him in the top 5. Let's just say Drew Brees hypothetically is at worst one of the 10 best quarterbacks of all time. If you would have told someone 25 years ago that Drew Brees was going to end up as one of the 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time, they probably would have laughed at you, because Drew Brees, he was a late 2nd round pick out of Purdue, a basketball school. And he goes to the Chargers, has a little bit of success, but ultimately gets injured and doesn't perform all that well down the stretch, throughout his Chargers career. The Chargers end up replacing Drew Brees with Phil A. He goes to New Orleans, where at the time, New Orleans was an absolute dumpster fire. They were no good franchise. They were a laughingstock. And Drew Brees was asked to be the quarterback to turn that franchise around. And he did it. He ultimately was able to accomplish that feat. That's a big-time accomplishment in itself. And when you look at Drew Brees' height and his weight, and you compare him to some of the other quarterbacks, you compare him to the Terry Bradshaws of the world, the Dan Marinos of the world, the Ben Roethlisbergers of the world, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, the Tom Bradys of the world, the Peyton Mannings of the world. These guys are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", roughly 220 to 240 pounds. They're big boys, okay? Or they have big-time arms, like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is, I would say, a normal-sized NFL quarterback, but that guy's got a big juiced-up arm, no doubt about it, okay? Drew Brees, he's barely 6 foot tall. Some would say he has a slightly above average arm. He's not the most mobile guy. He was not a first round pick. But yet Drew Brees overcame the odds. And he overcame a city and franchise that was lost and needed him to pick them up. Okay? The Saints, like I said, before Drew Brees got there, they were awful. So, to answer the question, is Drew Brees not winning a second Super Bowl disappointment? No, because I don't quite put Drew Brees in the category with Tom Brady, with Joe Montana, with Peyton Manning, with Aaron Rodgers, because I know he has physical limitations. I know he missed the playoffs 9 times in his career. I don't put that burden on him. See, if Aaron Rodgers finishes his career with only 1 Super Bowl, that's a disappointment, because when I look at Aaron Rodgers, I think Aaron Rodgers is arguably the most talented quarterback of all time. He has physical gifts that Drew Brees doesn't have. He has a stronger arm than Drew Brees. He's faster than Drew Brees. He's more mobile than Drew Brees. He can make throws that Drew Brees can only dream of making, even in practice, people. Okay? Drew Brees, we have to realize what he is. And we have to realize what people thought he was going to become. And we have to realize that Drew Brees is an overachiever and a guy that overcame his obstacles. That's what I think about when it comes to Drew Brees. So no, Drew Brees not winning a second Super Bowl is not a disappointment, okay? It's disappointing in the fact that, sure, the Saints built a good team around him in the latter part of his career, and he was not able to capitalize, but I don't put that as a huge crime against Drew Brees, just because, like I said, he was never supposed to be this great in the first place. He overcame his obstacles and things of that nature, okay? So, look, I do think that if Drew Brees was given better defenses early in his career and a little bit more consistent of a team, and maybe if he didn't have to play in such a tough division, he might have had more postseason success. But ultimately, it is what it is. He's 9-9 in the playoffs. I never considered Drew Brees to be an all-time great playoff quarterback. I just don't see him as that guy. He doesn't strike me as a guy like Tom Brady or Joe Montana. Guys that, when it matters most under pressure, they elevate. Drew Brees at times has shown he can elevate under pressure, but more times than not, he stays the same. Or at times, he doesn't quite live up to expectations. But, I mean, Drew Brees, he's had a heck of a career. And football's a team sport. That's what people forget. We tend to categorize the quarterback as the entire team. The quarterback is not the entire team. He's one of a 53-man roster. So, no, Drew Brees, him not winning a second Super Bowl, to me, it's not a disappointment for all the reasons that I mentioned. Drew Brees is a legend, and his career has been everything other than disappointment. It's been a huge success, no doubt about it. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God-blessed day, and I'm out.